But of course, I'm sure that you had some visits from the FBI by that. No interviews, nothing. They just let you go.
No.
Okay.
They were trying to get a grand jury indictment for a whole year, and they couldn't until they found the piece of evidence of the insurrection.
And that was that evidence again. That was the 1776 returns. Is that document?
That is 100% correct. That is what got me the grand jury indictment.
And I remember I read I don't know if you've ever read this article. The New York Times had an article about how the prosecution was so excited. They had these brilliant, young FBI professionals looking, and then all of a sudden they found it. And they're running down the hall and they're so excited. We got it. We got the information. Here it is. And it's all bullshit. The whole thing was nonsense. They found, and I was going to get into that a little later, but let's just do it. They found this 1776 returns document inside a chat group that you belong to. Yes. Right? Yeah. Was that a Telegram, or I guess it was
on Telegram.
Okay, and this document is eerily about how to overthrow the government after an election and how to overthrow the Capitol, I believe.
So the document's name made it sound a lot more nefarious and a lot more sinister than what it actually is. If you read through the document, I mean, I think it does have, I think the roots of the document do have like a sinister intention, but the actual document isn't per se like a bad document per se, because what it is, it's instructions for a sit-in, right? Again, I want to.
So it's not instructions for an overthrow of the government. It's instructions to hold a sit-in. Is what you're saying?
Well, I believe the author might have those intentions of overthrowing the U.S. government, but when you read the actual document to the people, it's actually a sit-in to show you how to get in a building, lock hands, and sit down and not leave, right? Which didn't include the actual Capitol building. It included like the Rayburn building and a couple of other buildings around. So the document itself, and I guess we'll get into the more sinister portion of it in a sec, but the document was sent to me, right? And that's what they used to get the grand jury indictment. They went ahead and they got my, like, the copy of my phone, and they're like, look, this is what Enrique Tarrio had on his phone. He had this 1976 returns document that shows this nefarious plan to overthrow the U.S. government. So obviously the grand jury ate this up, but there was one detail that they left out. That document was never opened. The forensics team and the FBI knew that the day that they presented that evidence to the grand jury. So
was that ever presented in court? Did the jury ever hear that it was never opened?
Yes, they did hear that. The judge allowed the document to come in on our position that we never opened it, which again, that's a whole other ball game. But the document was never opened, and they do have a way to check if the document was seen or open.
Right.
If you've seen Telegram or WhatsApp, right? When you send somebody something, it has one check. When they see it, it has two checks. That's exactly how Telegram works. In my case, it still had one check because I never even saw it or opened it. They admitted that in open court. Therefore, already the grand jury indictment was already illegal in this case.
That's just so amazing. So this is the evidence they had against you. And I, to add a little bit more details, and you could add on to this, but this was a document that was written by a man named Samuel Arms, who gave it to a mutual friend, who gave it to you.
Yes.
And you put it in, or I guess you loaded it, or did someone else load it? You loaded it into the Telegram group.
No, I didn't load it. That person. So the way that it works is, and it goes beyond that. It's one step beyond that. Okay. So Samuel Arms gathered this document from a CIA war game, okay, that was actually hosted in Langley. This CIA war game document that he worked on, right, because he wasn't the only author, was given to this woman called Erica Flores, right? And she was told by Samuel Arms to give this to me specifically. So she's like, oh, okay. She never read the document. She just sent it to me, right? At the time, she sent it to me once. I never read it. And then the second time she did read it, and she sent it over to me. At that very moment, because what happened on January 4th when I got arrested, they put my phone on airplane mode and essentially they froze my phone in time. Therefore, no messages can be deleted, and no messages can be edited at that time.
Mhm.
At the very time that my phone was frozen, I had 2.3 million unread messages on Telegram alone. 2.3 million
Wow.
messages on Telegram alone that I didn't read. Those messages from her being a big group of them that I did not read. And they still presented it in court. So this CIA war game document that was authored. I'm not a conspiracy. I want people to know I am not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think the world's flat. I don't think like this was real. This is not me saying this is it's documented that this document came from Langley and then was given to Samuel Arms, and then he directly we saw those messages where he told her, "Hey, I need you to give this to Enrique Tarrio," and that document was used for that. And
Mhm.
when I get the protective order lifted, I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more because there
Right.
is very, very, very interested twist to this whole thing.
Mhm.
But I promise that the Gateway Pundit will be the first
Oh,
to
bless your heart.